Okay, hi again. It's time to finish this painting once and for all because I really need to get this prints done and stickers and all the merch that I want to do with this. Because this weekend I have my convention, so it's important that I get it done. And yeah, it's really close to get done. So I'm hoping that we can get it finished in this session. Hopefully. Now we still had some details left to add in the clothes, so I'm just gonna quickly add that before we start adding the shadows. I'm hoping that this is gonna be quite a quick thing. To be honest, like based on my usual time doing illustrations, I'm guessing that this will take probably like around an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours to the final finishing touches. But yeah, I'm hoping we can get it done today. That will be awesome. Okay, I'm locating my references to add the last bits that I needed to add, I think. Yes. I think I just needed to add lines over here and over here on the pants, on both the pants. And then, I don't know if there was something else left. Oh yes, some details like the eyes and the tattoos aren't painted either. So let's jump into that. Oh, I just remembered that these parts were darker as well, so I'm gonna need to go over those. I haven't opened this drawing in a few days, so I'm just catching up basically with it. Okay, so those will be the pants done for now. This part is a bit confusing in the drawing because it's sort of like there's a ton of things tying it down. So I'm just gonna leave it like this because it's just very confusing to see what's really happening there. There's like certain lines, but I can add that later maybe. Or I don't know. Maybe I should just... I guess that works. Okay, I'm gonna turn the opacity down here just a little bit so it's not that dark. There. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything else missing. Oh, also, where are the shoes? It's a bit mixed now that I see it. I don't know what I did over here. Oh, okay, I grouped them by colors. Alright. I guess. Where are the boots then? Over here. Okay, and that will be if I finished, except for this little detail on skin. I had to double check Vi's eye color. Okay, so it's sort of a light blue, sort of grayish. Maybe that one. I think that works. I'm gonna paint her lips as well. I feel like I always say this, but I'll modify the lip color, I mean the line art color, later on, and this way too I'll, you know, make it better respect depending on which part is which, you know. Okay, so we have eyes and we have the lips over there, and I don't know why. Is there a line around there? Oh yeah, it's probably for the shadow, okay. I was sort of questioning my choices right now. Okay, oh, and I just realized that there was something. Oh yeah, there's like a line in the boots, and I forgot. These things could be added later, but I think that it's better that the base colors are, you know, as close to what it is as possible, because it's really not. Okay, it's not here. Where is it then? Sorry for the distraction. Yeah, I think that it's better that this part is already done as close as real as possible. I don't even see the line here. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's just depending on what your preference is. If you are not as, I mean, if you would rather add them later, or if you just rather skip some of these details, like it will be fine. If, you know, the boots didn't have this line, it's not gonna, nothing's gonna happen, right? But I want to be as close in reality as possible, especially because I already spent so much time doing this outfit and everything that I wanted to have. I want to have it as close to reality as possible. Okay, I'm gonna paint the tattoos now, and I think I'm gonna paint it in a pretty. I'm gonna like lower the opacity, so it's gonna be pretty soft over the skin. Okay, I feel like I like it over there. And now I'm gonna just take advantage that I'm already on the skin, and I'm gonna do the. Oh, I forgot to paint that. I should paint that. I'm not sure if I should paint her eyes like, because I think I'm right when I say that she didn't have pink eyes initially. She had the pink eyes at the end, right? In the end scene. I don't want to say too much. But I don't know. I think pink. I don't know. It's just mainly because aesthetics, but I think pink will look really cool. I'm gonna grab this pink, by the way, and I'm gonna see if I like it. Maybe this is more red than pink, but let me darken it a bit. Okay, for some reason I feel like she looks a bit demonic now. Okay, let's see if with this. Yeah, okay. Pink. There we go. Okay, so I think we're done with the skin. Now we need. I'm gonna add a little cross around the back. I'm gonna put put it together with this, because that's the shirt. Oh, okay, I think. What is it left? Okay, so definitely the boots need more details. We need lines on the trousers, and the hair needs the golden thingies. That's how I explain myself. The hair needs the golden thingies. Coffee break while I look for the references. Was it golden? Like, I'm thinking golden, but... Okay, I found the boots over here. I'm opening it all, so I have it a bit closer at hand. This reference was also nice for the hair and the clothes. Yeah, I think that's all. Okay, so she does have sort of golden things on her hair, so I'm just gonna grab a tone that will look sort of golden and go with it. Also, this makes really nice contrast with the color of the hair, doesn't it? I don't know if I should make it a bit bigger. There. I'm really excited to see this finished. And we're so close. Okay, so I do still need to shade everything, but closer than I was a week ago, definitely. So there are some things in the boots that are sort of golden, I think. I don't know if we can see it. Yeah, so I'm gonna combine this. Where are the boots? Over here. Okay, in the reference, this is a lot less golden than I'm making it up to be. So I'm gonna turn the opacity down a bit. There. And the other one is gray. Okay, what else do we have? So these things around here, it's getting hard to see as it's painted in black and I didn't really leave any of the colors out. It's like I don't really see what I'm doing. Okay. So one last thing is that the I don't know how you say this in English. I forgot. Um, the shoelaces. Sorry. Yes, I didn't know that. They're pink. They're hot pink. So I'm gonna need to color the line art on that. And I don't know if I should add some details. Yeah, let me do that. Now that I already have the gray over here, I'm gonna do this. I had a better reference for the boots, but I can't find it now. Is incredible what you find in Pinterest. I honestly have like a ton of references for the clothes out of cosplays and just everything. It's impressive how people leave so many resources out there. And so good for artists, really. Helps us so much. Okay. No, that looks just wrong. Okay, I'm gonna turn the shoelaces hot pink, and I think that we should be done with the boots. It does look like they have some other color around here, like a brown. I don't know if I should add that. Okay, I'll add that. Just okay. This brown doesn't look really good against this. Okay, that already looks a bit better. I'm gonna do shoelaces now before I forget, because it's just so easy to miss some steps later on, you know. I'm not gonna be super careful, but I don't want to color all the line art around here. And I'm not being especially careful mainly because I think it looks fun to have it like sort of all pink there. It definitely gives it a pop to the shoes, I mean, the hot pink. So bright. Okay, we don't have much more to add, just the lines on the pants, I think. Oh, and we do have... Just gonna quickly add some of these beads. It should be... There should be gray around here. They look a bit too white now, so I think I might turn the opacity down a little bit. There. Okay, on with the pants now. She has a golden thing around here that I didn't see before, so we'll just add that first. Also, this part was gray. Another thing that I didn't add just yet. For some reason, sort of in the color as her sister's pants. I'm gonna use it so there's a bit more cohesiveness in between them. Though I'm gonna turn it slightly lighter. Yeah, just like that. And then light color as well. As they do have different colors, I think it's good to do things like this. Also the shadows, I'm gonna use the same color for the shadows on all drawing really. So that will also help bring cohesiveness to the painting. I didn't realize I was painting in the same layer. The good thing about shading now is that I'm not gonna have to look at any references for a bit. And it's probably gonna go a lot faster because I just can concentrate in the painting instead of in everything else. See, I was just double checking. I think I'm gonna do this in the line art. There's like some silver things around the lines basically. So I'm gonna use line art for that. I think it's just gonna be easier and faster. Just like I did with the shoelaces. Like so. It's a bit messier than drawing the lines, you have to erase much more, but also it's faster, so I'm all for fastness right now. I'm gonna turn the opacity down a bit so it blends a bit, and also, you know, it just doesn't show as much my mistakes while painting this like that. And base color is done. Let's finally shade. Yay! I'm gonna use, as I always do, a purple tone for shading. One second. I don't know if I should grab one from here. Is this gonna be too bright? I'm gonna try that one. And I'm gonna close all my references now. Not gonna look anything else for the moment, you know, unless I have a specific doubt. And I'm gonna start with Jinx, but just because it's here. So with the pants. Set layer to multiply is already in a clipping layer, and let's get to work. So I basically haven't decided exactly, let's see. Haven't decided exactly where the light is gonna come from, but now that I added this effect the other day in the middle, I'm thinking that I'm gonna have like a soft glow on this side and this side, so it's like it's coming from the center. And I'm just gonna use that, so this part will be in shade. I think it makes sense. It gives this light a sort of sense in the composition as well, and then I'll add some more later just to affect the full glow of the piece. Also, we'll get darker around the edges, and I think that can work well. Okay, less talking, more painting. So usually what I do is I do two basic layers and then I do some adjustments if I need them. Basically what I do is one where I have the brush much bigger. You can see this is sort of fluffy, and I add shades a bit more like this. As you can see, it's a bit more regular. It's not I don't know how to explain it. It's not really like regular or anything. It's just to add a bit of a general shade that's not too harsh, and I feel like that looks nice, you know, gives it a bit of an extra thing. I'm also thinking that this is not too dark. I think I'm gonna go a bit darker for the shade. I forgot that. I forgot to paint some lines over here. Gonna do it like this, and that's all. Okay. So let me go back to the color that I had. It was this one. I'm gonna go for this one now. I think it needs to be a bit darker. Okay, so as I said, softer layer with, you know, general shades basically. And I turn it down, a lot down. Is it the lips too in this? Yeah, they are. And add some shadow over the corner. And then what I do is same brush, just smaller because it becomes a bit harder, and I also press more. Same with multiply as well, but now I go into places that will have shadow, like, you know, on this, under this bag, under this, or this, you know, this probably will be a bit generally in shadow, as well as this. And this will be much closer to the oh, I forgot the name. Cell shading, sorry. Got a bit of a completely forgot what I was saying over there. But yeah, cell shading. This is a bit more similar to cell shading, but I don't really. I like the look of it. I don't like it in my paintings. The look of the really harsh line in the paintings. So I do like this. Also, this is a round shape. This is a sort of a cylinder. So even if this is casting shade, this will have also shade in the back part. So I'm just adding something like this. Same over here. Like this will obviously be in light, and it has some lines over here. I'm going to cast all of this into shade, and here as well. Okay, and despite I've already used a softer shade, I still like to go with a softer brush around the areas where I did this, so the the borders of the brush are not as harsh, and the lines are just not as harsh, really. Like, there's not much more I can say. Just gonna leave this part a lot darker. Okay. And again, I never leave it 100% opacity, never. Usually it's always 80% down. And a lot of times in shades, really, it can work with a 40, 30 sometimes, even 12 if it's depending on what, you know. This one I do want the shadow to be a bit harsher, so I think I'm gonna leave it around 50. This one is around 30. And sometimes I go back and adjust this shadow if I feel like I need to. So I'm going to keep it like this. I'll combine them because they're both multiply, so it's fine. And we have the pants shaded for now. Oh, I completely forgot. I realized I forgot the glove around here, so I'm just going to repeat the process. For this, it's going to be super fast. Oh, multiply, and now a bit softer. Okay. This is black, so instead of adding shadow, I'm just gonna add light later on. This doesn't make sense, really. It's already black, and even if you set a layer to multiply, you won't do nothing. Like, I mean, it can still go darker, so I don't know. I never set up a complete black, just because of this, basically. But, oh, okay. We'll add some basic shades like this. It will add some dimension. As you can see, this is pretty fast. There's not much to it. I just go over everything. Again, don't usually leave this at 100%, so despite it being black, we'll turn it down a bit, like so. Okay, skin now. I'm not sure if this color is going to be too dark for the skin, actually. But we can just make it a bit lighter. This time I started the other way around. Doesn't really matter. I have added the harder cell shade type shadows. I'm adding something softer on top. I'm gonna do this part just like this because it's gonna be in shadow. And now goes lighter, much lighter really. I think like this. She's really, really white. So we're not gonna, leave her so pink. And I think I'm gonna use the other purple for a bit of a lighter overall shadow, as I did before, but just with the other purple. Still, I'm gonna add some more shadows around here, so just make it darker. Sometimes I add this layer, another layer of cell shading, as I told you, just if I feel like it needs it. And I feel like this one was getting a bit blurry, so as you can see, this one is just very, very soft, one and the other. So they're both really soft, and together they build up to give it much more volume. I'm gonna combine them as before, and we're done. And I'm gonna jump into the hair now. As you can see, it's just pretty fast. The hair might take me slightly longer. Sometimes I save double because I forgot I just saved, by the way. It's not that I'm crazy, it's just that I forget. Not really a problem because you should be saving constantly in these things. You never know when it's gonna crash. I'm lucky that my computer usually doesn't crash with Photoshop, but there has been the rare occasion, you know? And it's never nice. I think that's why we sort of develop a compulsive habit of saving. There are certain programs that I just save constantly every 2 minutes or every time I make a change. Especially, for example, happens to me when editing. If I'm editing a video, I'm really used to video editors to crash. So every time I cut, like I'm cutting audio for like 5 minutes and I'm saving constantly. Because the previous editor I had, I actually just changed to Adobe Premiere. The previous one I had just failed a lot. And literally, if I didn't do that, I will lose progress because it will crash every 5 minutes depending on the day. Like, just sometimes it's in a mood and it just closes every 5 minutes and it will do that. It was super frustrating. Oh, I think that looks a bit like a braid. For the braid, I don't think I'm not going to do... I'm not think... sorry, I can't talk. For the braid, I don't think I'm going to do a lot of cell shading because it just looks fluffier and nicer and more organic this way. I'm just sort of give it shade to the parts where the braid will sort of shade. I probably will on the rings because that's metal, that's not so organic, and that benefits from some more vertical, more, sharp lines. I'm not sure if I'm convinced with this blue. I really like this blue. It's not that, but I don't know if it's a bit too blue for what it is in the show. I feel like it's more of something like this, right? I'm gonna admit that I really like it like more dark blue, but I think I'm not gonna go completely like really light, but I'm gonna go just with the blue, obviously. I was changing the whole thing with the blue over here. It's gonna go slightly lighter, so like that. Okay. Well, it's been over almost an hour, and yeah, it's taking, as it always does, it's taking longer than expected. But we do have almost all the shades over on Jinx. So I don't think it's not gonna take me a crazy amount of time to get the rest done. Okay, there, lighter shades. And now second layer. There we go. Now I'm gonna go a little bit more detailed and thin. This is a good chance to fix small things like that. Oh, I'm gonna go with the dark tone right away. It's gonna be, I'm gonna forget at some point to change the color. I know it. Maybe I went a bit too small. Except for the rings. I think I'm gonna do the rings first because I do feel like this will look better with a thinner thing. And just like this. I'm seeing the little lines I hate that weren't completely filled or were erased when I was correcting it, but I'm just gonna ignore them. Like a lot of times I spend a lot of time fixing those little details and it starts building up, and I think you spend a lot of time just fixing that. And then you zoom out and you don't see them. So I'm gonna stop being perfectionist this time because I'm in a bit of a hurry to get this done and leave it like that. How easy can you make up a braid with just a few lines? By the way, if you're watching this here or later in YouTube, because I'm uploading them later to YouTube as well, and you have doubts about how to do things like this, like braids and hair, and just you're confused, I have a great long tutorial where I explain my technique to draw hair, and I've been using this like forever, and it's really simple, and it comes out with practice. So if you like the effect that I'm getting over here without just really much effort, go over to YouTube. My YouTube channel's name is the same. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, then obviously nothing. And find my hair tutorial. It's not like that back. It's from September last year, and I had a hiatus, so there's not that many videos after that. And it's like 30 minutes long, but you know, it's divided in sections. I show you a little trick, and then I do examples of different kinds of hair, and I explained it the best I could. Like I'm not a teacher exactly, and a lot of times I rumble, but I think that I gave you all the tips that I could over there just to make it look nice. Thank you so much. This stage is really cool because you can already see how it's gonna look in comparison to the previous ones where you just basically saw flat colors, right? So it's a lot more obvious how it's turning out now than a little bit before. So the stage is always a bit more interesting to watch, to record to. The previous will be called ugly stages, right? I'm adding the shades like this and not in the previous way because it gives it much more texture to the hair, as you can see. I've already added general shades, so these are basically to give texture and a bit more realism to the hair, so it looks nice. You can see how I really like painting hair. I'm so entertained over here. Whoops. All is alright, I just threw away the glove that I had right beside me. Exciting, we're almost done with the braid. Braids, not just one. Maybe I shouldn't be adding that many details, taking into account that she's gonna be pretty tiny in comparison, but thank you. I really have fun making braids. I know a lot of people have a hard time figuring them out, but really once you do, they're pretty simple and they're also pretty simple to shade to make look realistic. And I have a lot of fun making them. Just any hair really, but braids are pretty fun. Except if you're drawing like 100 of them. Like if you're making a braided hairstyle or something. I have done that in the past. And that becomes a pain really quickly. Despite you liking drawing hair, it just becomes a pain very fast. Yeah, obviously. It's just the same all over again, and a lot of times they're really tiny. So you need to take those sort of works with a lot of patience and maybe just take breaks in between. Do a bit of the braids today, a bit tomorrow, and all of that. Like, for example, I'm having fun now, but I'm starting to get a bit tired of doing the same, and I'm almost over it. But if I wasn't, and these are, okay, these are braids that are much longer than usual, but it's just pretty repetitive and it's almost like a pattern, really, because it's all these triangle shapes. Okay, almost there. Now we're gonna move on to shade Vi over the other side. Whoops, don't like that. Okay. The magic of digital. Oh, that looks quite good when you zoom out. I like it. Still, I'm gonna turn the opacity down a little bit. Thinking a bit down over here, down over there as well. Because her braids aren't really that dark, so. But I think over there looks good. Another layer of shade done. Okay, so the shades over on Jinx are done, just the lights left. And now let's move on to Vi's shades. I'm gonna start in order. Just gonna give them names first, so I don't confuse them. Because in Vi's outfit, I've grouped them by color instead of by pieces of clothes, so it's gonna be a bit more confusing to find out. These are the blacks, reds, everything. Okay, everything else, I guess. Hair. Everything else. So, okay. I was deciding whether to work up close or from afar. Sorry if it got a bit annoying over there. Okay, so this is the blue spot, also the shirt. I'm gonna start with a layer of general shades. Multiply as always. Take into account that the light source comes from over here. I know it says blue, but I'm still a bit like, where are the shadows over here? Okay, so that's the very general shadows. Let's go in with cell shadows. And for this I'm going closer and smaller again. This time I do work with the wrinkles and the borders to give dimension. Still a bit of a cartoony shadow thing, so it's not exactly, you know, as in reality. And the shirt like this. Okay. Over there are the boots. I'm going in a bit more blocky because I feel like it fits the aesthetic, a bit of the show and all. I'm usually a bit more careful with the shadows, but I don't know, I feel like in the clothes where I don't usually add as much detail, and because of the, you know, just effects of the show and all, I think it might fit to do it this way. Okay, we turn the opacity down again, like this. I think it's fine. And one layer of shadow down. Let's move on to the pants. And that's just the pants, okay? Yeah, alright. I was asking to myself, really. I'm looking at what you're seeing over there in the Twitch studio, where I see a screen cap of my screen, but smaller, and it actually helps a lot seeing some of the things I didn't realize. Like a lot of times artists have their painting open on another window or something so they can see it in, I don't know how to say it, like in a different perspective or something. And it actually helps. Like for example, I'm looking at Jinx and I'm really liking the effect she has with the colors and all. So that helps. I'm gonna use that in the future now that I liked it. Yeah, I have like, I really, what I see is just what it's recording there. But a lot of artists, what they open is they just, if they have a bigger screen, I don't have a screen that is that big, they will open Photoshop again twice basically. So they open this drawing twice and they have it in smaller size, and it's just basically so they see their progress smaller a bit from afar, and it helps them see other things. It's basically the same as you zoom out, but for example, if you're working over here in a very detailed space, you sort of lose perspective of the rest. So it's good to have a smaller thing of the general thing. It will be the same as to zoom out here, or in traditional to walk away from a painting and see it from a bit afar. It's, it helps you, just changes your perspective basically. That's also, if I had a bigger screen, I will have this much larger so I could see it over here, and it also, it helps me zoom too. But I like to have some space for my layer, so I usually turn it down. But this will do the same effect as well. I have the darker color, so I don't go back and change it right now. I'm gonna start with the cell shading this time. So first I'm gonna go, maybe I went a bit too dark. I've realized that the pockets are a bit darker, but maybe I went a bit too far, I don't know. I can always do another layer if I find that this is a bit too dark. Whoops. Yeah, exactly, that's what I meant. I don't know if you said that before I actually said it or not. Maybe you said it before I said it. I didn't, I wasn't looking at it. But yeah, yes, this is the same as that. But that's just, that's actually for zooming in and moving it out. But it works just the same. Okay, I think my Photoshop is going a bit slower now. I don't know if I'm gonna have to close it and open it again. Because it's gonna start to be a bit annoying. Yeah, it's going with lag. See? Okay. I'm gonna... and I don't like how that looks. I'm gonna close it and opening it, opening it again. But my tongue, I'm getting tongue-tied. Let's make sure it's saved. Okay, and we're back. Oh, that's fun. Where are you from? Is English your first language, or is just like, oh, we are in social media talking English, but not really being from any part where they speak English? Oh, okay, so your native level of English is really good. Not like in Spain. In Spain, it's really bad. Don't use me as an example because I'm bilingual. I'm actually Portuguese, so I guess that helps me. Yeah, mine too. Yeah, my parents are from Portugal, but we moved to Spain when I was 2, so I basically grew up with both, you know? And then English, just at a certain point in my life, we were taught English in school, obviously, but I decided to, actually listen to more things in English without subtitles and all of that. And I made a pretty good ear and started talking really. And I don't know, I just developed it pretty easily, I guess. And I think it's basically because I had like a background of more than one language. But I don't know. I also dedicate a lot of time to just watching things without subtitles and making, getting used to listen to it. Because as I said, in Spain, they teach you English, but it's a really bad English. And by the time I was in high school, I spoke English better than my teachers did. And they were obviously Spanish, but they were so, so bad at talking English. Yeah, gaming can help, obviously, too. I was basically seeing TV shows and all of these that were easier to understand, I guess, like sitcoms and things like that. I think I remember the first thing I watched to get my ear used to everything was The Nanny, the 90s show. And eventually, just everything I started reading to in English and putting games in English and things like that. So, obviously, all of it, turning everything into English. And pretty quickly, I had it. Okay, another layer of shadow. Okay, it's doing the same again. I don't know why it's not. Oh, I think I'm in the wrong layer. Could that be? Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong layer. Okay, I was thinking that I wasn't painting, and I'm just in the wrong layer. There. The purples don't really suit as much Vi's clothes as they do Jinx. Like, I mean, especially the pants. I think the blue does work with this purple. So I think I'm gonna turn it a bit more down the opacity than usual. Okay, I'm seeing it a bit from afar from the Twitch studio screen, and I think it's okay. I just think that it needs. It's probably the lines over here that are bothering me, the purple lines, but I'm gonna darken that later, so it's just me being picky. I think I just saved right. Okay, let's jump into this. Everything else, I'm just gonna have to keep checking what everything else is. So basically that and the jacket. Okay. I feel like the shade color is actually closer to Vi's outfit color, like jacket color, than the one I have actually is. So I think I'm just gonna do this soft layer to darken it a bit. Oh, I just realized that this was over here as well. She has a lot of wrinkles on her jacket. I think I forgot to paint this. Was this red? I'm gonna need to look it up. Double checking my references again. I don't know why I closed it. I should have kept it open. Okay, so no, it's sort of. I think I should finish shading and then add that. It's sort of like it has a golden, not golden, silver thing around. Okay, there I think. If I still find them a bit harsh, I just lower the opacity over here a bit too. And I think it's not much, but I think that looks better. Because Vi looks much darker, as she doesn't have as much pops of color as Jinx does. Okay, I'm gonna color that in a sec. Can't really see the color of the inside. I remember looking for it and I couldn't find much of a close-up to it, so I think I'm just gonna go for a lighter red over here and lower the opacity just a bit. There, I think that works. Gotta make it up if you don't find it. So we have all the shades we need over there. I think Vi is the one that's gonna benefit the most when we add lights, because we can definitely notice that her colors aren't that good right now. Okay, so hair. Yeah, I think the hair is gonna be fun. And this one's gonna be much, much faster. So general shades, always up and down. And I'm gonna add an overall shadow around here, just because it should be in a bit more shade in the front. I've added that because I thought that her hair was way too hot pink. A bit darker seems to look better and make more sense with the show as well. Okay, small shadows now. I really hope you can't hear it, but sometimes the mic touches my hair without me realizing it. So I hope you can't hear that. That will be annoying. But I do have, I think I put a little bit of a noise filter on the mic because my mic does this little noise already, and I didn't want you to hear that constantly. So I think it might be, like, you might not even notice that. I hope. That will be a bit too bothersome. Okay. And we have Vice hair. Still think that it looks a bit, I don't know, maybe too hot pink for the references. Let me see. I don't know, it does look similar to what I'm seeing. I'm gonna play a bit with the saturation, see if I can find something, a little change that works best. So that's the pink, that's a bit redder. But it does have a bit of a hint of pink. Though, it is that in the show it's a bit like in a darker mood. So it feels like it's gonna be darker. I think I basically kept it basically as it was. There. Okay, so which ones were the general shadows? I think it was this one. Okay. And all we have now left is the body. How exciting. We were so close to finish. Can't wait. Okay, I was going down like to paint more skin and there's no more. That's it. So we're doing this very, very light. On the skin I go much lighter than on anywhere else. Okay. I think that's too harsh. It looks so dark right now. A bit bad, I know. I will fix it in a sec. This arm should be a bit lighter because it's just right next to the part that's a bit shinier. Okay, and now last thing. Okay, that's fine. And shadow. One last thing that I do now is usually get a bit of blush on the skin, because just like this it looks very natural, and it helps a lot to go over with I usually go with that sort of orangey red like that, and I add it in all the places that should be a bit pinker, like elbows, fingers usually, fingers, elbows, and then on the face a lot. Like, just basically on the face, the nose will be a bit redder, the cheeks too, but overall just a bit on every part. The chin and that, and then I take it off a lot, because just a little hint, as you can see, that she's a bit already looking much healthier. And I think I'm gonna give it a second touch with another color, but I'm gonna move to Jinx first and do the same. Let's make them look healthier. I give a bit of a glaze to the rest of the body as well, because it just looks a bit more natural. On the face of the ears, by the way, will be a bit redder too. The ears, nose, cheeks. As you can see, I go a bit overboard, but it's just because I turn it down so much. And now a bit of a second layer, maybe with a bit darker color. Whoops, that was a mistake with the brush. skin very soft. Usually combine that with the skin. Let's go back to Vi. Add that second extra layer. Yay, we're done. I was thinking about grabbing... okay, so obviously this is a bit dull, but I was thinking about grabbing this color a bit lighter for the highlights. I'm already on Vi, so I'm gonna start over here with the skin. I do basically the same as I did before, just a bit of a general layer. I don't know if I should do it with this or... yeah, this one looks nice. Oh, a new follower. Hi if you're watching. Lower this a bit, and now some sharper highlights with the brush a bit smaller, like around here, around here. We're supposed to having the light coming from over here, so I'm just adding some extra highlights. Okay, I like it. A bit less intense. And lights. Now moving up to the hair. Same process. This is a bit repetitive, as you can see. It's more of the same all the time. So, general lining over the front. We turn the opacity a bit down, and now some details. Lights are usually faster, mainly because you don't add as much as what you would in shadows. Like there's a lot more, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot more shadows. You already have a middle color, so this is just basically a little highlight here and there to add to the scene. You know, I'm gonna have to figure out again what was everything else. So, whoops, there. Jacket, bandages. Okay. Ooh. Oh. With the bandages, I'm just basically passing a line through the middle. And also adding some light from the side where we have a light reference. There. And what else was everything else? Okay. This. Oops, that's the shades. Am I forgetting something? No. Okay. So that's the general layer. I'm gonna leave it like much brighter because the colors are so dark and that it actually looks good. A bit more intense. And now I just add a bit more. It makes quite a difference, doesn't it? As I said, we're almost, well, closing down to finishing, and it's taking around 2 hours. I don't know if it's getting a bit late. Oh, this looks so good on the pants. Oh, that was supposed to be... Oh yeah, okay. Got completely sidetracked for a moment. It's much brighter on this color. I'm gonna go down a lot. Okay. As you use the same colors and everything, it basically gives it more cohesion throughout the pages. And now this is, yeah, the blues. Okay. Just wanted to make sure in case I mislabeled that. We're done with 5, moving on to Jinx. Oh no, the hair's gonna take so long. I'm gonna start from below. Skin first. So light over here, light over the fingers, over here. Looks really, oh, okay, that's better. Just a little lighter. There. On the black, we go much lighter, obviously. And basically what I'm going to do is just add a bit of a swim lighting. It is a bit faint, so I'm just gonna leave it very soft, like very, basically entirely how it was. Just lowering the opacity a little tiny bit. Moving on to the pants. Okay, we got to the hair. It's gonna take a bit longer. So, okay, just general lights. The good thing about this layer mode, I'm not exactly sure how it's called in English, is that even though if you apply it on shades, it still looks really good. That's why you see me applying it like a bit everywhere, because sometimes sort of a contrast nice with the shades. I will take it off. A nice touch, isn't it? Layer now with more detail. So there, over here. I like how this layer mode is there. Looks really nice. I expected painting Jinx of the most parts of this drawing. Let's go a bit lighter on this one because it's in the back part, so it wouldn't have that much light. So much fun. Okay, so we've done it for the characters. Like there are a little twist of details, but I'm gonna go and add some light to the circle. Let's see if this looks good. This or yeah, I think this looks good enough. Softer. I'm gonna grab the shadows, the colors, and do the same. Gonna zoom out, it's gonna be easier for this. So okay, but I also want it I'm trying out something over here. Let's hope it looks good. It's gonna be light, so I'm not gonna bother going crazy with, whoops, with following the lines. I mean, a minimum though. That was a bit out of control. Okay, the other purple, a bit darker. I sort of want to do the same with just darkening the outside. So let's see. Okay, just much lighter. There. And now I'm gonna add some details with the shadows. Oops. Come on. I might not completely finish it now because I'm finishing these things, but I'm feeling that it's lacking something, that I can't put my finger on it. Maybe something in the background, I think. And I might just leave it to sit down for a bit, like until tomorrow. That usually helps, giving you ideas or, you know, figuring out what you want to do. Maybe not. Maybe when I finish this, I'll find it to my taste. But it's always good to, you know, sit down on it. Sit down, leave it down for a bit and see tomorrow with fresh eyes, you know. Okay, I'm thinking about using this layer mode now instead of the previous. I feel like I like it better. Okay, so I'm gonna color the heart now. I'm just color it over all of this. There's a lot of layer effects on this, so it turns out very odd. Which isn't too bad because it gives the whole background a bit of a hazy feel, and the colors sort of turn out similar to each other. Okay, I actually like it like this. Yeah, this meshes with all the layer modes. I like it there. I'm trying to decide certain things. I think what I'm gonna do now, because I'm sure that I will do this eventually, is darken the line art of both characters with a multiply layer and the purple, so it turns almost black in certain parts, and I think that will look better, you know, just especially in there's a few things that don't fully work as well. So let's start with Vi, and fun thing about this too is that it sort of gives you an extra way of shading. In the pants and here I'm just going over everything because I didn't feel like the purple matched too well. Still, I'm gonna add another layer of this, by the way. I'm gonna lower the opacity a bit more, and I'm gonna add a new multiply layer and just add it. That's what I wanted. So we make black now. I'm darkening the eye because I think that that will make it jump out more. Not because it's actually in shade, it's just a bit of a trick. Still, I'm gonna lower the opacity a bit. Okay, I think that looks much better. Now it's Jinx's turn. That's the foliage. I'm not sure if I should darken the foliage as well. I feel like the colors fit much better with Jinx's outfit. So I'm not as harsh on her as I was on Vice. Darkening. And I feel like the eyes too. It looks a bit more Jinx with the darker eyes. And the mouth as well. Okay. I like it because a while ago they didn't even look like them. And I'm still not like 100% with Vi's face. It was hard to capture her in that angle. But I do think that Jinx does look a lot like her. So I'm glad about that. Okay, I'm gonna play with the line art of these parts as well a bit. Let's see if we can make it a bit more interesting. So, just a few effects here and there. Honestly, for this I should probably just... I was going to say fill it, but I think I like it better this way. Maybe a bit more organic. And let's start in the line art on the background as well, see if I like that. Okay, maybe not as harsh, but outside, definitely. Okay, I feel like around here it should be darker. Around the crackers over here as well. And just like this. I like it a bit more, it gives it a bit more contrast. I'm gonna try one last thing and I'm gonna leave it for today. I'm gonna try coloring with this blue in a multiply mode. Maybe I should go in with a harder brush. a bit larger than what it seems. Another one, I'm more used to this one. It's the old. And I also wanted to add a little shadow